I allow myself to be my best self, to be creative and to let go. I allow myself to live an elevated life, to stay focused and clear, always moving towards a goal. I allow myself to let go and to learn to live and to grow. I allow myself time and space. I allow. Yes, 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 yes. Good day. I allow myself to feel. To express myself. And to use the talents that I possess. Welcome one, welcome all. It's that time again when we allow ourselves to grow and to make love out of the things that are not love. That's alchemy. Changing our lives from what we no longer desire, transforming it into what we desire. We'll be starting in just a minute. We're just making a few adjustments. So get into the groove, get into the music. You're listening to I Allow from the Medicine Music Collective Special Edition, which is a soundtrack for the book, What's Eating You. This is I Allow featuring Azare. Are you willing to allow yourself to be wealthy, healthy, and wise? Are you realizing that we may be blocking our own destiny and our own path with our mindset, allowing something to eat away at our goals? What's eating you? I allow. Yes, 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 yes. Good day, Dawn.
Good day.
I see you going through the pages, huh? Flipping through the pages
Flipping through the pages
of what's eating you.
of what's eating you. What a wonderful way to start the day. Flipping through the pages
Sure
of
is.
what's eating you.
Yes. Let me adjust my camera here. You know, my mother, she had a statement she would always say that no matter what's happening in your life is like a book and you just have to keep flipping the pages. Don't stop. Don't just stay on one chapter. Don't stay on one verse. Don't stay on one sentence. Don't stay on one word. Keep flipping the pages. Otherwise, you'll get caught up and the book might eat you alive. Well, she didn't say all of that. I just added to it, you know. You know how when the movie comes out, it's always different than what actually happened. They add pictures and they show you private scenes that no one could have known. You know what I'm saying?
Right. The movie's always different than the book, right?
The movie's always different than the book. And that also looks at when you look at a movie and see how they've embellished it. And then you look at yourself and look at your past and what you're saying about yourself and how sometimes we're embellishing the past. Sometimes we're only looking at what went wrong, what was bad, versus what may have been good, what may have been beautiful. Are we embellishing our memories of our past? And that causes us today to be living in this movie that we've created that may not be, you know, totally based on what's really true, what's really present, and what's best for us. Is our past eating us? Is your past devouring your present moment?
That's deep. Is your past devouring your present moment? Just think about that.
Just let that sit in for a minute. Ask yourself.
And that's so true, even in relationships, right? We live in relationships. We have people we hold accountable for things that they've done in the past. People can change. We all grow. And so if you're holding them in that space, are you allowing the union to move forward? It hits on so many levels. And I guess that's just like minding your business and businessing your mind and how it can hit on so many levels. It's applicable in so many areas of your life.
And what's interesting when we say mind your business, the only business, and this is interesting, the only busyness that you should truly have is the busyness of right now. If you're minding the business of the past that you can't change, what does that do to your energy field? What does that do to your life force? If you're constantly minding the business of a past version of you that's already done, it's already cemented, there's nothing you can do to change that. How many of us are attempting to change our present gift, the now? And when you take now and you turn it around, you get one. Right? How many of us,
Right.
I'm talking about one, like you won a prize. The gift of now is what you're winning. But if you're living in the past and the past is creating your now, then there's no room in the now for newness. Because
There's
you're
no
minding
room
the
in the now
business.
for newness.
Say that again. What did I say?
I was repeating what you said. There's no room in the now for newness.
Whew.
That's deep.
That's a bar. I gotta write
That's
that
a
down.
bar, Dr. B.
I gotta write that down. Where's
There's
my
no
pen?
room in the now for newness.
Whew.
Just think about that.
Whew. We getting started early today, huh? No warming up. We're right in there. You know what I'm saying? Right now. Right now.
Right now.
So, are you minding the business of today? When we say mind your business and business your mind, take the business of the mind, the busyness of your mind today, and create something you would like to create. We start conversations and even meet people in relating, and we start talking about the past, where we've been, what we've done, who did what to them, the traumatic situations that they're stuck in. And, we start telling the story. We almost become, we start sharing a little too much. When we are brand new today is never happened before. History is not repeating itself. I don't care what they told you. History, I guess his story does repeat itself, but nature doesn't repeat itself. The leaves and the trees that are now growing and the flowers that are blooming have never bloomed before. There's a new leaves, there's a new limbs, there's new branches, there's new buds, there's new flowers. When we repeat ourselves over and over, or try to repeat in a past echo to stop an echo of the past, then we get passed up. And now all of a sudden the universe can't grant you, the universe can't grant you anything new, because the space that is now new is full. And that's your currency. That's what you currently see.
So your currency, what you currently see. So if you take that and you move it to, my mind is on money this morning. Like I'm in full on money mode this morning. So when you say the currency is what you see in this current frame, right? In the now, as we're projecting forward to allow, because we're always attracting. It's just as we attract, we often send it away with negative thoughts. So everything is energy. And when you put in the energy of lack, abundance can't appear because you're sending it away. So what you currently, if you're in currency, in your currency, in that frame, if you're seeing lack, how can abundance show up?
That's what you see currently.
Right.
And as Julian just said, preoccupied. It's like an occupation. Is that your job? Is it our jobs to focus on what happened? Or as a lot of us say, what had happened? Let me tell you what had happened. And, when you tell what happened, it becomes a movie memory. And that movie is moving. It is current energy that you're giving something in the past. And if it's something agreeable, well, we should grab it. But many of our memories that we call traumatic memories, the things that are eating us, the parasitic ideas and feelings and the, emotions from the past that are eating us alive today, are just you occupying your time with that. We're choosing it. We keep talking about what they told us and what they did. It's always about them. It's always about the victim. That's why we should check out Gene Key 55. Please look up Gene Key 55. And with Gene Key 55, it tells you exactly where we are as people on the planet right now and what we're going through. We're going through a great transformation. It talks about the nymph crawling out of the swamp water. And the swamp represents, pain and struggle and victimhood. That nymph, that baby dragonfly, crawls out of the water, up on a stem, up on a reed, and it sees the world outside of the swampy water for the first time. It has to break its shell. It has to pump the water from the past. Check this out. Into its crumpled up wings so they can inflate so it can fly. Did you know that? It takes the water that's inside of its body. This is the nymph, the baby butterfly. I mean, the baby caterpillar. I mean, that's whoo. We're on. This is all about transformation. It is
It
all about,
is because everything you said is transformed. I mean, those are all
you know what
wow.
I'm saying? So to really grow, you got to take your past, the waters of the past, the ideas of the past that are unchangeable, and transform them and pump that energy into your wings. The only way you can fly is to take the past and transform it. Use metamorphosis. Just like the caterpillar must go inside the cocoon and die. And the, the new cells take over, the imaginal cells take over and create that butterfly. And then it's got to eat its way out of that cocoon, out of that darkness. This is where we are today. We must look at right now and realize that a lot of what we're suffering from is mental parasites, ideas, feelings, and emotions from the past that are caught. And we're preoccupied with that. So today we're going to talk a lot about that. And we're going to tie it into business. We're going to tie it into love. We're going to tie it into peace, growth, and pure love and harmony in this moment. Would that be okay? Dawn, I didn't plan to get all into this like this, but it just started happening. It's on me.
It's wonderful when it just starts happening, right? We live in that space and it just starts happening. And that's the beautiful thing.
Yes.
Being, doing, and having. It is. Today is a remarkable day. And think about the word remarkable.
Mm.
And so I've been living in etymology all morning. And I think it's wonderful when you not only hear what you say, but when you understand the true meaning of the words that you're speaking. Because you're creating that with every word. You're creating your reality with every word you speak. Because as you were speaking about the past, it brought to my remembrance that the subconscious mind doesn't know time. So whatever you're speaking, it believes that it's now. So be mindful of what you speak because you're informing your subconscious mind, hey, this is what's going on now. That's why it's so important to spend time speaking only in the positive reality and removing the word not from your vocabulary as often as you can. Because the subconscious mind can't tell the difference.
And the subconscious can't perceive and conceive of anything outside of self. When I was in class studying psychological kinesiology, when the teacher said that your subconscious mind can't perceive or conceive of anything outside of itself right now, that was it. You know how you get to those moments where you don't hear nothing for the rest of the day. I don't even know what they taught for the rest of that day because that was so profound that if I'm talking about someone else or I'm talking about myself in the past, it automatically says this is us now. How often do we want to repeat what had happened? When I used to go, and I've had some therapists a few times, and all they want to do is talk about the past. What happened? What happened? What happened? What happened? It's just over and over. And I was like, some things I've forgotten. I remember this one therapist, they do some light hypnotherapy or something like that. And I was told to recall some terrible time in my life. I had forgotten it. And I called it up. It came up. And guess what? Now I was more terrified and traumatized. I was re-traumatized. Why is it that we always want to go snatch the bad stuff? Because that's the movie. The movie's got to have the scenes that are shocking. You know what I'm saying? It's always got to be, you know, look at the movies and the television shows that are number one. What do they have in them? They have things that are shocking. And did you know that your subconscious can't even tell the difference that that's not actually happened? When you see a lion on the screen in a movie, unless it's a cartoon, that's why cartoons and myths and things like that are different. But did you know that if you see something that normally you should be afraid of, your subconscious goes into fight or flight, or your nervous system goes into fight or flight because it's something that normally you'd run from. But we've gotten used to not running from the things that we should run from. We run towards them. You know what I'm saying? It's like running into the fire.
This is what I love about hypnotherapy. When you're doing hypnotherapy, and let's say you're living in a current trauma, and we work through your method of suggestibility, if you're literally suggestible or you're inferred suggestible, whatever that is. However you learn, that's really how I find out how you learn. And you usually learn by the influence of your strongest parent. So it goes right back to um what they say in the four agreements in terms of that domestication process. But when we look at how you learn, we understand your desired goal. We make suggestions into your subconscious mind that will match your goal, thus reprogramming the trauma bond that you had with that situation and giving you new suggestions, and anchor that in your subconscious mind with an anchor. And now you have a new loop to play, not replay, but you have a new loop to play that is positive, progressive, and moves you in forward motion and gives you the opportunity to allow that to no longer be the tape that you play, so you can move forward. Hypnotherapy is amazing. When I think about that, when we talk about what the subconscious mind does and how we can give it something else to sink its teeth into.
And I've witnessed you doing hypnotherapy with people who you're doing it most of the time. And you're pointing
I'm
out
doing it now.
you're pointing out a lot of the goodness that's in people, where
Yes.
a lot of different therapies are pointing out what went bad, where we were broken, and how to fix it. You can't fix the past.
Mm-mm.
There's no way. The only way you can be your best is to fill this moment full with the fluid of nowness. We live in fluidic space. We have to be fluid. What did you say? To flow, pivot and flow like
Pivot and
water.
flow.
You see,
Yeah.
so it's a beautiful thing that we recognize that. First we need to recognize that toxoplasma, this parasite, is causing us to live in the disagreeable past,
Yes.
causing us to move towards the disagreeable actions, and even date in a way, or attract the same drama in another way in another person that we had before. You see, this has to do with finances. A lot of folks are considered or consider themselves broke because they consider themselves broken, and they were told that money is the root of all evil. They
Hmm.
were told to be wealthy is bad because all the people around you who are wealthy are evil people. They didn't realize that there was no difference between energy and money. It's currency. It's what you currently see. If you see yourself in a terrible place and that's your program because that's how you've been living, and that's what you're watching in the movies, that's what you're looking at in your stream, in your flow, then that's what you're going to exist. I mean, it's funny how you're online and all of a sudden what you're thinking about pops up. It's listening to your thoughts. All right, it's really what your subconscious do is listening to your thoughts and beginning to show you or let you experience what it is that you desire, even though you may say, I don't desire to feel blah 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 blah. Just by you saying what it is you in no way desire, you may be pulling up that program.
You
So what
are
we're going to
understand, Dr. B. We just talked about I don't desire is I do not, and the subconscious does not understand nots, right? And so it's simple as that. Like as you're saying that, and we hear the word, we speak and don't realize that we're placing these knots because we have these words that are combined. You don't, you won't, you couldn't, you shouldn't, you ain't, all of the words. That knot is blended into them, and you say it without realizing that you're giving power to the knots.
And you get tied up, and now you're a victim. See, whenever you hear nature call, when nature barks, that lets us know right on. That was the dog saying right
So nature confirmation.
on. You see. So we'd like to welcome you today to another Be Do Have live stream here on YouTube, and we are here to impart information that might be helpful. We are in no way here to get you to just go along and believe, in what we are saying. We're looking to help folks find themselves and find the gold map, the treasure map of all those old movies where they were looking for the gold mine is an analogy of us finding ourselves, finding the treasure map within ourselves and digging the gold mine, finding the gold mine, the chest of gold that's within all of us. We all have it. It just may be buried. So we'd like to welcome all of you here. If you're here for the first time, please put it in the chat that you're here for the first time and how you heard about this. And if you've been here before, where are you coming in from? What state, which country, which part of the world, and how long have you been hanging out with us? We have been, Elevation Foundation since 2002, 2004, somewhere around there, 2003. And we have had a physical place in Los Angeles for many years called Elevation on Pico. And a lot of you may be here since those days. And we've had, a beautiful ride. And it's wonderful to be here to be able to help people become themselves. So if you're here for the first time, let us know. And give yourself permission right now. Some of us have never given ourselves permission. We're looking for permission. We're looking for programming. We're looking for those outside of us. We're looking for beings and friends, and we're looking for situations that can help give us guidance sometimes. Today, give yourself permission to be your own guidance. Give yourself permission to learn something new, to possibly change and do the transformation of taking the past and the present and folding it into nowness right now. We'd like to thank you for investing this time and these live streams. There's many of them we've done. So you can go back in our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Dr. Be Serious. Dr. Be Serious on YouTube, and follow and like and become a leader. That's how it happens. So today we're going to be talking about mental parasites. And we actually have already started the conversation because what we're discussing is mental parasites. Have y'all heard of mental parasites? You have any idea what that is?
Mental parasites. One, we've got people from everywhere. And it's wonderful to see you all. And two, mental parasites are a thing, right? They're a real thing.
See what happens? Whenever we hit something heavy, something happens in nature to let you know. This happens to everyone. When you're moving towards a goal, there will be some opposition. You've got to move past opposition to find liberty.
So I'm going to jump right in here and start reading. We're on chapter 15, mental parasites. And I'm starting at the top of the chapter. An essential step toward freedom is recognizing the symptoms of imbalance, the subtle infections of thought, behavior, and emotion that drain the life force. Be careful not to start pointing out these traits in others. That reflex alone is a sign of infection. As they say on the airplane, put your own oxygen mask mask on first. So review this list honestly. Notice which ones resonate. Awareness is the first step in reclaiming mastery. Symptoms of mental and emotional parasites: drawing energy and ideas from others without offering anything in return, constantly judging and feeling the need to prove how much you know, using deceptive intelligence for personal gain, playing the victim, living in hypervigilance or hyperemotion, competing excessively even when cooperation would serve better, relying on artificial intelligence while neglecting your own organic intuition,
Mm.
selfish greed and the insatiable quest for control or power, carelessness with words, actions, or people. Carelessness with people. That's deep. Okay. Habitual overuse of social media and electronic distractions. Feeling the need to push personal beliefs onto others, dwelling in the disagreeable past, lacking compassion or gratitude, blame gaming or deflecting responsibility, resisting constructive feedback, creating control dramas, chronic fear, anger, or reactivity, being easily triggered by words or disagreement, seeking constant validation or needing to win every argument, sarcasm, gossip, bragging, and loud talk, vanity, fakeness, or chronic inauthenticity,
Mm.
unforgiveness or refusal to ask for help, pointing out problems without ever offering solutions. Don't diagnose others until you've detoxed yourself.
Which one sticks out for you? Which one on that list of those of you who are here present, was there something on that list that just said boom? If you feel one of those, mention it in the chat. These are symptoms of mental parasites. Something eating your time and your energy. Something controlling you, using you as a host. Something that's using you to duplicate and replicate itself and move from people to people. Wow.
And when we're identifying those items that stand out for us, we can be specific or we can be vague. Is being vague resisting, calling it as it really is? Um, and I always say awareness does the work. When you are aware of the fact that you have a cold and you take some herbs and you get a solution, you help your body heal. That awareness does the work. So, awareness of the mental parasites that are present give you the opportunity to create the solution, to live in the solution, to be the solution, to do the solution, to have the solution.
So, solution has soul in it. That is a medicine that can be used many ways. A solution is something that's mixed up, that's created based on your soul purpose. What is your soul purpose? A lot of folks have issues with this thing about their purpose. And I'm going to make it simple right now. The only purpose that you have right now is to breathe deeply and listen to this information and see if it can help you. That makes it simple. Soul is in the solution. What is the medicine for you right now, which may be just breath, water, putting a little salt in your water. The solution is never playing the victim. That's what the fourth one down, playing the victim. How many of you out there play the victim? Even when it comes to business and your business ideas, how many people pop up and say, I tried it and it failed. I can't get a loan. I can't get in this, and no one will give me a grant. And my cousin messed up everything for me and messed up my credit because I co signed for them. Playing the victim. That one hit deep for me because that's huge. We the government did it. The president is doing it. I was at the gas station the other day and everybody was talking about how high the gas was. And they tried to get me into the conversation. This was from pump to pump. They were pumping the problem. And they said, well, what do you think? I said, I think I'm going to put $50 in my tank. And that's all I put in my tank is $50. That way I don't have to think about the stress of what they're doing to me. We love to talk about what they're doing. But what are you eating today? What are you thinking today? You get to resonate and create the movie about what you think they are doing. Remember, that movie is always embellished. It's entertainment. Sounds good. So be careful of the parasite that causes you to play the victim. Catch yourself each time because it will tie you up in knots.
Tie you up in knots, right? Those parasites that keep you speaking in knots. So let's talk about transforming energy. We're on page 161. I'm going to continue reading. Transforming the energy from parasite to power. Everything has an opposite polarity. Every weakness contains its own seed of strength. These traits can all be converted through awareness and deliberate practice. As I said, awareness does the work. Transformation requires a pattern interruption, a conscious disruption of the old program to create a new pathway in the brain. Practices that rewire the mind and body. Cultivate grace, gratitude, forgiveness, patience, and acts of kindness daily. Spend time alone, away from the thought forms and energies of others. Solitude is medicine. Engage in activities that require skill, rhythm, and focus, such as playing an instrument, martial arts, painting, gardening, walking, yoga, or swimming. Develop a hobby that invites creativity and discipline. This gives the mind a vacation from external chatter and restores clarity. Change your environment to change your mind. New experiences create new neural connections. These activities don't just relax you, they literally rewrite the software of the brain, dissolving toxic loops and replacing them with harmony. Harmony. We'll go into the definition of harmony because that word is really deep. The etymology of harmony and what it creates, right? I have said to many that in relationship, I don't necessarily desire unity because you can unite with anything, but can you harmoniously blend, interact, coexist, join with another in relationship? Harmony, if you just go into, I guess I'm speaking from growing up, Jeffrey, right? When you go into the music of harmony, when you go into that balance, that harmonious blend, and if you just look to apply that in relationships and friendships and family relationships, harmony creates a different kind of synergy and balance.
And harmony in music is when you have a fundamental note and you find other notes that complement it.
Right.
They create a chord, right? An energetic chord.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're baking, if you're making a chocolate cake, you don't add other flavors in there that are unlike chocolate. They've got to work in harmony in our lives. If you're looking to start a business, you've got to find ideas and people and resources and lessons that are in harmony with your goal. If like a guitar player, you don't find a guitar player who does things that could damage their hands. They're always protecting their hands because their hands are what they put on the guitar to play. So you're not like throwing knives and all that. And we're very careful. Those of us who are musicians who use our hands are very careful about taking care of our hands because that's what we put on the instrument. So we're in harmony with things that will help us be better at what we're doing. Think about what things that you've attempted to harmonize with that are actually creating a discord. How many things in your life are keeping you away from the finances that you desire? You have to find and do things that are in harmony with wealth building. So when Dawn is coaching folks, I'm sure she's not telling folks to do things that are out of harmony with the attraction to money in business. So harmony is when you're singing a note and there's another note that goes with it. How many of us in our lives have been taught to live in disharmony? How many of you? You were programmed by your environment, by politics, like a lot of things in the news, things they tell you, even in belief systems, that don't even make any sense. They don't even harmonize well. But we were forced to live in disharmony. Why? Because only masters, only the very best are going to realize that something is out of tune, out of time, and move away from it. Self mastery. That's why there's so much opposition in the world right now. Why does it look like this? It's because we're being tested, and only the best are going to come through this. Only the best that are going to recognize that they're mental parasites, they're physical parasites, spiritual parasites, and energetic parasites have got to be detoxed from their mindset. And even thoughts can be parasitic. And that's what this mental parasite piece is about.
This is deep. I'm going to continue reading. This is deep. It lands, it hits different, right? So reprogramming the subconscious. Inside of the subconscious basement lie the keys to your radiant health, sustainable wealth, limitless love, and life purpose. The goal is to unlock that basement through repetition and conscious redirection of energy. Pleasure and pain both shape character. They are perception based. Many people unconsciously identify with pain and even call it pleasure, chasing drama, fear, or struggle for a temporary dopamine high. Like addicts, we may crave the emotional anchors that keep us trapped in familiar suffering. But liberation begins the moment we admit, I have been addicted to my pain. From there, new possibilities unfold. When the conscious mind becomes aware of a subconscious issue, that is the moment we can begin the healing process. Like I said, awareness does the work, right? Um, I see, Dr. B, you put, I see my success, but I run away from it and I don't know why.
Let's talk about that, Dawn. How many people do this? I have done it several times in my own life. We can see the success, but we run away from it. Why, Dawn? What's happening where a person is running away from the thing they desire the most?
Well, that comes from fear. In that, I always say, they're like, what? They're afraid of success. What if you succeed? Right? And so I had a client and she would plateau. She would create everything that she needed to get to a certain level. And right before ultimate success happened, she would begin to self sabotage. And it wasn't that she was completely afraid of success, she had a loop playing. And I believe, if I remember correctly, it was something that her mother used to say to her. And she used to, I think she used to tell her she was crazy and that could never, you're crazy. You're always thinking of it's living in these places that will never exist. You can't, that's not that, you're never going to be able to do that. And so when she would get so close to doing that which she desired because she put all the things in place and she was absolutely brilliant, she would succumb to that thought that was implanted in her subconscious mind and self sabotage. And so that happens it can happen for multiple reasons, but we've got to look at what's programmed into your subconscious mind that makes you plateau and say, I can't go any further than this. I'm not allowed to go any further than this.
Mm.
Because you're not allowing yourself to go further than that. And so, Doc, if I'm in that space and I'm plateauing, what should we do? How do we stop that?
Well, pattern interrupts are very important because it's the repetition that rewrites reality. So, Dawn, if you could read this next section, I think we can really get there quickly.
Okay.
This repetition rewrites reality.
Repetition rewrites reality. Repetition is the mother of reprogramming. The same simple practice that installs a habit can also uninstall it. Computers were modeled after human consciousness, and like computers, we require periodic software upgrades. If the program isn't updated, entropy, gradual disorder sets in. Each new thought, action, or word is a download. Install wisely. The rubber band technique, pattern interrupt. Here's a simple, powerful tool. Wear a large, oh my gosh, I forgot about that one. Wear a large rubber band on your wrist. Each time you catch yourself repeating an old limiting pattern, snap it firmly. This physical jolt reminds the subconscious to rewrite the programming. Let me tell you something. This right wrist has been black and blue from that. And I forgot all about that technique. Wow. After about 28 days, the old habit begins to dissolve automatically and new neural connections replace the old ones. Remember, pain and pleasure are both powerful motivators. Use them consciously.
So this is something we're going to be dealing with in our course. Mind your business and business your mind. We're going to have to implore and explore the rubber band. Now, it works where your subconscious, it really is attempting to move you away from harm. So as you put this rubber band on your wrist and you pop that rubber band when you're thinking about things or doing things or pondering on things that are actually moving you away from your new goal. Because in our class, we're going to be talking about our new goal is to be healthy, wealthy, and wise. How to find money and business and people, how to attract the people to your new goal, your new life. This rubber band thing is deep. We used to do this at elevation in classes, and it would just change people quickly. Where you pop that rubber band every time you're going into a place that is bringing you in an opposite direction from where you'd like to go.
Dr. B, can I interrupt you for one moment?
Go ahead.
reading that whew, took me back to what I released with that rubber band. And it became an immediate release because it interrupted a pattern that was so deep in my life that reading it caused a visceral effect in my entire nervous system. And like that, shift has happened. Um, Literally, I can feel the rubber band, and a shift has taken place because what I was living in that moment, I recently re experienced, and it's done. Just like that. That's how powerful that rubber band is. Wow.
The deepest part about it is we have to be honest, because part of us doesn't want to pop that rubber band because it causes pain.
Oof.
Now we got to be careful, because there's a few people who loved the rubber band and they were popping it all the time because they loved pain. Because for some folks, pain is good. They grew up in a place of pain, but the average person does not desire to be punished. So we move away from the things that will punish us. That's why a lot of us are still living based on what our parents wanted us to do. We don't want to be in trouble. Your parents may be gone, but we don't want to be in trouble again. So we end up acting out and creating this life to make it look like we're doing great. Popping that rubber band, and people who were in our classes who did that way back in the day. I don't know how many years ago we were, doing that in the classes, Dawn. Well, popping that rubber band begins to reprogram your subconscious. And now the repetition of you popping it, right, causing pain to yourself, is going to cause your subconscious to shift into a place where it's going to say no pain. It's going to change the direction of your automatic thinking. A lot of our thoughts are automatic because it is the repetition of pleasure or pain that has put us where we are. So this rubber band trick is a way to cause a pattern interrupt that can shift us really quickly from moving towards, the direction we in no way would like to go. We don't want to repeat history. Why would you want to repeat history? You'd like to create something new in the moment. So it's about bringing you into the moment. The rubber band trick, or the technique, we will be using it in class, because when you start thinking about business, you're going to need something that can snap you back into reality and keep you on course. Dawn.
Okay. That was a real effect. That clear my eyes here.
Yeah, that one really took you to another place, Dawn.
Yeah, that one almost took me out.
Dawn was got to log off for the day. Dawn Osborne is logged off because the rubber band trick has come back.
The rubber band technique is one of those things at Elevation, in addition to my 3 consecutive cycles of cleansing, that changed my life forever. Literally. And so when I say that the techniques in this book work, what you witnessed was a visceral experience of how well they worked, just reading the technique. Sleep at the wheel syndrome. We're at the bottom of page 163, moving to page 164. Sleep at the wheel syndrome. Most people believe they are in complete control of their thoughts. Try not to think for 20 seconds and watch how quickly thoughts flood in.
Let's do that.
Okay, let's do that. We're on page 164 of What's Eating You. And we're going to spend 20 seconds and watch how quickly thoughts flood in. Just try to clear your mind for 20 seconds.
And think of nothing for 20 seconds. Begin now. how many of you were actually, honestly, and transparently able to think of no thing for 20 seconds? I find that for the first 10 seconds, I'm trying to figure out how to not think.
Right.
How this is a deep thing. We think we're in control of ourselves. What is in control? What is happening automatically in your head to bring up thoughts and feelings where that we this is why a lot of folks have a challenge getting into the place called meditation, because meditation is the cessation of thought, where we're reaching this beautiful place where we're not thinking for a minute so that the program can reset itself, so our brains and our spiritual energy can rest. But a lot of times we're under arrest by all
Mhm.
the thoughts. And that's going to be important in our class that's coming up on the 6th. We're going to have some techniques that you can use to clear your mind, to wipe the chalkboard clean, take everything off the desktop, because we are challenged with the virus of mass distraction. And that's
Mhm.
what can keep us from actually reaching our goals, whether it's business, health, mental, even relationships, to be totally, totally aware, totally present in that relating.
So, Dr. B, we have a question. As you speak of the class, can someone from Europe join the class? Absolutely. This class is online. And so you can absolutely join the class. Um, the class is Mind Your Business and Business Your Mind. It's a master class. It's taking place on June 6th. It'll start at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um, it's a 6-hour class. There's two levels. There's a VIP and there's a general. And what the VIPs will receive is the opportunity to have a um, session prior to the class where we will take your general concerns and we will be able to make sure that our VIPs and their experiences and the things that they share are woven into the curriculum on the day of the class. Super excited about being able to spend time with the VIPs, listen to who they are and what they're doing, and have that be a launch pad for how we weave through our curriculum the next day. So the VIP experience is super charged. In addition to the replay access and the downloadable workbook, that priority Q&A that takes place is something that will enable us to weave your experience, your situation, your desires into how we teach during those 6 hours. There may be a breakout session that comes from something that one of our VIPs has asked or suggested or is working on. And so it'll be highly interactive and speak to um, what your reality is, what your highest desires are as a VIP. We had the distinction of being on a podcast together the other night, and we got to literally work through some challenges that a sister was having, and it was a beautiful experience. And so we will do some of that where we take the time to bring you into the lesson, the platform, and work out your individual challenges utilizing the techniques that Dr. B and I use with our private clients. And so I'm really excited about the class. And so if you're interested, we're still allowing people to submit their 2 paragraphs. And then we'll be sending out the invites with the information. And Dr. B just had the information about the class, but the class is not just a class. It's designed to help you organize your mind, improve your health, align your energy, sharpen your discipline, and elevate your business, personal, and financial life. It's a high level transformational experience for people who know that they are called to more, but need clarity, structure, execution, and alignment to get there. We meet you exactly where you are, and we're going to help you get to where you want to be. If you've been procrastinating on your vision, struggling with consistency, feeling mentally scattered, building without structure, stuck between survival and purpose, ready to elevate your income, discipline, and mindset, then this experience is for you. Mind your business and business your mind. And if you're interested in participating, please send an email to dawn@elevationtime.com and let us know in 2 paragraphs who you are and why you think you should be in the class. And what I have been receiving so much of is wonderful explanations and emails without your name. I have so many emails with people, and I think it's wonderful to be able to do it, but their name is not in there. So if you wouldn't mind putting your name in there too, that would be helpful. But what you'll learn in this class is how to procure funding through grants, investors, and learn how to identify financial opportunities, executive mindset and discipline, wealth consciousness and abundance principles, business optimization strategies, monetizing your gifts and expertise, personal alignment and energetic mastery. You'll learn real implementation systems, how to move from ideas into execution. You'll learn the secret language of highly successful people, and you'll learn to attract your highest desires rather than chase your dreams. As we were putting this experience together, we thought about all the things that we've encountered with people over the years, and we said, how do we make this so very impactful? And so we have the general admission, and that's $333. The VIP experience is $497. And as I said, with the VIP experience, you will get that private Q&A experience where we're able to speak with you a week prior to the class and engage you to find out not just what you wrote, but where you really want to be. And we will weave aspects of the VIP experience into the curriculum from our experience. And the VIP includes, like I said, the replay access. That'll be for 6 months. It won't be that you just have access to the replay for a week or 7 days, a downloadable workbook, bonus guided meditation affirmation. There's VIP integration support. How are you integrating what you've learned and making it and actively making it and actively integrating systems? Now, that doesn't mean you'll get one-on-ones forever as part of integration support, but there will be integration support. So let's make sure that it's clear that integration support will explain to you in that VIP experience. Now, you can register now by sending 2 paragraphs to dawn@elevationtime.com. We're getting really full, and we want to be able to make sure that we give the time and attention to all participants. And so we're reaching our we're reaching capacity. So send it now. And we will send out the link for the registration. I mean, to be able to sign in and to pay. But send your 2 paragraphs now because we are reaching capacity. And I'm so fascinated by all that I've been able to read. I spent last night reading because we had so many people send in their writings just in the last 2 days. So please send it in now. Don't wait. Don't procrastinate. Be a part of this class. It's moving my heart in ways, and even today as I'm reading this chapter in this book, I realize that 1, everyone should do the cleanse. 2, I'm sitting here and after just replaying the rubber band technique, I'm ready to go jump into my 3 consecutive cleanses because that experience with the rubber band technique, the 3 consecutive cleanses, and the walk where I was in my business, I think at that point is where I finally took my business into 6 figures. And so, and I've been able to maintain it consistently since then. And what a beautiful blessing. And so, as we ascend, we can look back, right? And so, now it's time for that multi-million-dollar shift, Dr. B. So I think I need my 3 cleanses and my rubber band back.
You got to get the thick rubber bands. Don't get those little
No,
cheap
no, the
baby
thick
ones.
rubber bands.
You got
I
to
don't
get those
have any
thick
in my
ones.
office.
See, we got to
Um,
get those.
but you
So
got to get them, and
yeah.
they're the thick ones,
And
not
there
those little.
is a way to do it. So some folks will just start popping them today. Take the class, because there's a specific thought process, and creating a language syntax is the important thing. Most people don't know how to speak to what it is they desire. So that's why, actually, it says register now. Dawn Osborne at elevationtime.com. That's actually not registering. First thing you're doing is putting yourself in alignment and letting us know why you feel you should be there. First, you've got to let us know. We need a letter from you. Where are you coming from? Where are you going? Everybody is not going to be able to come to this, because you've got to begin to ask for what it is you desire. How many of you are afraid to ask for what it is you desire? And I thought it was genius when we were talking the other day. Dawn and I were working out the class, and she says, well, let's offer VIPs. They get to talk to us, and we get to talk to them a week before the class, so we can get some ideas of what to integrate into the class or to infuse in the class that people truly desire. That was genius.
It
As a
doesn't
VIP,
happen. It
I've
doesn't
never heard
happen.
of that. I've never heard of that happening before. A week before I go to the event where I'm going to gain, I get to talk about what I'd like to gain, and I get pieces of the puzzle before I get there. And here's the other piece.
That's a DO thing,
That's a do thing. Don Osborne, do. And another piece. How many times have you taken classes, gone to do a plant medicine ceremony and taken something, or going to a ceremony or a ritual or anything where you're supposed to feel or experience a shift and a change, and for a few days you feel good, you feel great, then a week comes, then 2 weeks, and you can't even remember the experience. It's because there's something called integration support that is missing in a lot of things that we do. There is a way to save, right? There's a save command to the subconscious so that you remember everything forever. We're going to teach you how to do a save command. We're going to teach you, and these are done through mudras. Mudras have to do with finger movements, hand movements, and gestures and postures that actually write the code, right, that we've just learned into the system. So now it's at the cellular level, so that now you can recall it at any time, especially when it's got to do with business. I mean, how many times, Dawn, did I tell you I heard no from record companies when I was pitching a project? One time, it was 30 times this record company or these record companies told me no. Guess what? I went the 31st time, and the guy was tired of me coming here. I'm tired of this. What is it that you have? I said, I got you now. I got the meeting. I got in the door on the 31st time. And guess what? We signed a huge deal. We actually signed the largest deal ever done in what they called at that time hip hop history, because I didn't give up. I was crazy. My mother would do this letter writing campaign where she would write a company, or like my mother was experiencing symptoms of MS, which we found out later was actually the mercury fillings in her teeth that was causing her myelin sheath over the nerves to deteriorate. But she was writing letters to the state about how the water and the air, and because they were making, submarines and all these, materials and manufacturing in our state, she was writing letters saying that, will you cause this? And I want you to fund and give me grants to be able to, live my life, even though I can't, because she couldn't walk. My mother was writing a letter every week, and they were like, no, 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 no. And I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? I'm writing another letter. Oh, well, Mom, you already wrote them. They already said no. She says, I don't care what they said. Do you know, 6 months, maybe a year later, I went home and my mother had an elevator installed in the house. She had this van that dropped down on the ground so she could roll out of it. Not those kinds with the lift that comes and grabs you and you're nervous. You're up there, right? This thing would drop down on the cars on the ground so she could just pull out. It had all this high end, equipment so she could get where she wanted. They lowered all the cabinets in the house so she could reach them. They changed the height of every counter. I'm like, Mom, would you guys hit the lottery? She says, no, I hit with the letter writing campaign. I learned to ask big and keep asking until they say yes. I said, well, how did it end up? She says, I got on their nerves so much that they had a meeting with me so they could stop me from these letters. And guess what? Now I have all this.
Whew. Ask not, receive not. I think that if one of the questions that came up, you haven't received an email, does that mean you're not registered? No, it does not mean that at all. We are, our IT guy will be putting together the links. We'll be sending out emails with the links. You'll click on the link and then you can register according to your choice. In that email will be the choices that you see on the screen, and you'll be able to make a choice, whether it's general admission or the VIP experience. And so, yes, we will be sending that out. He's just, our IT guy, our IT person is just finishing that. So I wanted to make sure that I answered that question. And
one other thing,
Dr. B, your mom's letter writing, I always tell people that grants are a numbers game, right? When we write grants and when we talk about in this class, when we are talking about procuring funding and identifying financial opportunities, and that funding may be grants, it may be how to talk to an investor, it may be different investment strategies, whatever that is. When you're procuring funding, I always tell people I'm a professional beggar, and people are like, why do you call yourself a beggar? Because I beg professionally. My grants are tools requesting funding, whether it's a business plan, whether it's a grant, whether it's a deck for requesting investment. I am asking professionally for exactly what I need. And that's what your mom did over and over and over again with her letters. It's grant writing is a refined skill. And I wouldn't be as good at it if I didn't receive so many rejections and ask for the answers from the funders as to why I didn't get selected. Pay attention to the reasons they gave and refine and refine and refine. No doesn't mean no to me. It just means ask me a different way. It means pay attention to my body language if I'm in front of investors that say, no, we're not interested in that project right now. Pay attention to their questions. Watch the Shark Tank. If you're going to sit with some investors, watch the Shark Tank. Listen to what they're saying. There's so many ways to listen to what investors really want to hear when you're presenting your project, right? So when we talk about procuring funding and identifying financial opportunities, paying attention to the grants that are available. Like there's a grant in Los Angeles now where they're asking for you to partner with a developer and they're giving away buildings. They give it away in the form of a loan, but if you read the small print, after 10 years as a nonprofit with that funding, paying that loan, they wipe the loan away. They get rid of the loan, and it can be up to $3 million. What? Up to $3 million on a building that may need to be rehabbed. And if you have a nonprofit organization and you bring in Amundsen Foundation or other foundations that help rehab it, you could have that whole thing taken care of, and in 10 years you own it free and clear. Read the
There,
small print, align yourself for success, and live in a spirit of excellence when you're working with funders, and you'll have whatever you desire.
there are areas of every city and neighborhoods where the government will even give you something if you have a plan of how you're going to help development to help develop that area. There are houses. I was in Detroit and they were selling houses for $10. I was like, well, what do you mean? This is $10, but you've got to promise to live in it for a certain amount of time and you've got to fix it up. But they'll give it to you. There's a lot of things that are offered that we just don't look at. And I'd like to say something to a person who said this. Somebody said, what about people? Okay, let me show it. What? What? What about people who can't attend due to financial issues but are interested? I'll give you a great creative idea. You've got friends, right? Go to your friends and ask them would they like to be a part of a wealth building workshop. And all of you invest together and you're there in the room because you're not going to be able to share this like, send it to other people. But if you're in the room, you've got 5 people in the room taking the class for the price, for the investment. Now you're creating, right? You're being very creative to allow people who wouldn't normally have this information, because this information, the way it's coming through, it's never happened before. I myself am so excited about being involved with this because as we're going through it, I'm looking at places of my own self where I've got some old echoes of scarcity and limitation and why me and how it's bringing, like, just like Dawn, when we brought up that rubber band, technique, she had a visceral, energetic, physical, mental, spiritual experience. We haven't talked about this in many years.
Not at all.
We're teaching this because we're relearning it. We're not teaching it because, we got it. This is what we're doing and the ego is huge. No, we're saying to collectively, because out of this, what's going to happen, Dawn and I are going to hear some people and some ideas that we're going to probably look at partnership with you. Some of you have got some ideas out there. Let me just tell you this. There's some guys that called me and they know I'm a musician and a record producer. And they called me with an idea probably 10 times ago. 10 times ago.
10 times ago.
And they called me the other day and they were like, Dr. B, we've got this idea and we'd like the such and such. And we just like you to help us. And we ended up within 15 minutes creating a new partnership, their company and our company working on something, which I can't give you right now. But it was something that's amazing. It's going to change the music, the way we produce music. This idea I've had in my head that these guys know the technology of how to actually make that happen. So what's going to come out of this is not just you spending some money, you're investing. And we're going to look at people and create groups. We're going to create groups. You're going to come together and meet some people who may have ideas. Somebody has land. Somebody has this. Last week on the show, somebody, or I guess it was on the Brother Rich show, somebody was saying, look, the one sister was talking about she needed a place to live. And this guy said, if you're a veteran, I'll give you my house. If you were a veteran. Now, I'm not saying that, that was the deal for that person that worked out, but somebody should have called. But there's a lot of situations that we have right now in our minds that we could share with others. So we're going to create groups. So create some groups. If
when you
are
said
a parent,
that, Dr. B, I was thinking about how when there's one of these boxing events and people come together, they do the pay-per-view and everybody watches that at one person's house. There are definite ways to make this your reality. And I'm super excited about the VIP experience and being able to sit with those VIPs and work into our presentation gifts and tips and nuggets that speak specifically to their experience.
I know that to invest sometimes is a challenge. We don't think we have it. But if we said that there's a pot of gold, that's you're going to get a pot of gold for XYZ. People who have seemingly nothing will go find, they will beg, they will borrow to get to the pot of gold, because that's what this is like. And this is unlike any other workshop we have done together or individually, because we're tying together the metaphysical, the mindset for getting into business, but in the business of your life is a business, and to conduct your life like business, right? Successfully
Right.
is a skill, even if it's about healing. I did a consultation with a guy who, he couldn't lift his arm. He had a stroke and he couldn't lift his arm up higher than 4 inches. So we talked and we were doing it, going through the whole motions. We did subconscious alignment. We did some balancing, and I gave him a word, a language syntax to repeat. That's what we're going to be giving you in class, a language syntax, which is like magic words that just open the golden gates. Do you know when I left, this man was able to hold his arm up over his head? He couldn't believe it. He's seeing therapists. They've got physical therapists coming. They're stretching his arm. They're bending his back. I says, listen, our minds are in control of a lot of our bodies. Mind is the first medicine, but your mind is also the first disease. So right now we've got to raise above the current state that we think we're in and reach higher than we've ever reached before, so that we can invest and return 1,000-fold. Make sure you say that when you purchase something. Return 1,000-fold.
Return 1,000-fold. Yes, yes, and yes. I remember when I decided on a set number that my bank account would not drop below. Scared myself, right? Like, oof, how is that going to be your reality? But I planted that in my mind, and I repeated that, and I made it my mantra. And it's been my reality ever since. And so at the point where you commit to your reality and you remove all fear, and one of my mentors used to say, fake it till you make it, right? And so until I could see the $10,000 in my account, I had a $10,000 check that sat above my computer monitor. And I looked at that $10,000 check and I imagined that $10,000 in my account. And I called into existence the clients that made that my reality. We create, right? And so understanding that utilizing this masterclass will position you for greater impact, income, and influence is real, right? This is experience. It bridges personal transformation with real world implementation, right? As my Nana would say, it's not just talking the talk, but walking the walk. It's giving you a new pair of shoes.
Yes.
So that you walk different, you feel different. How do you move in that energy that says yes, 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 right?
And even if you feel that you don't have the ability or you can't afford, but you would like to, write the letter. Write the letter. Even though you may not feel that you're worth whatever it is that you desire to be worth, write the letter. Still fake it till you make it, and you change the frequency of the energy around you. Many of us fell asleep at the wheel.
You want me to finish that?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Back to the book, y'all.
Back to the book, y'all. I'm on page 164. So I'm going to start at the top. Most people believe they're in complete control of their thoughts. Try not to think for 20 seconds and watch how quickly thoughts flood in. We did that. The mind that most people think they control has been influenced, preoccupied, and pre-programmed by culture, trauma, and repetition. I call this the sleep at the wheel syndrome. You're riding through life, but someone else's program is steering the wheel. Balance the mind and body, and the mental pirates leave quickly. Then the whole world becomes your co pilot. Self awareness, the ultimate antivirus. Becoming self aware allows you to attract and choose thoughts, feelings, and actions aligned with your actual goals. When you habitually select empowering language and let go of what drains you, your entire world begins to respond differently. This is how you rewire your brain, reshape your reality, and reclaim your power. When you change the way you think, your DNA listens. I have to read that again. When you change the way that you think, your DNA listens. That takes me to Dan Millman. Wow. I'm going to read that one more time. When you change the way you think, your DNA listens. So think about mind over matter. That's what that takes me to. Mind over matter. Wow. Okay, Dr. B, I'm gonna turn this over to you because even though I have these braids in my hair, my wig just got blown back.
The braids are untying themselves. When you change the way you think, your DNA listens. We were told that our genes are pre-programmed and that we got everything from our family. So if we had a family that was not doing so well, we feel like we have now, we've taken that on. It's in our genes.
Mm-hmm.
We felt that diseases run in families. And now we know that only a few diseases are actually based on DNA. Most of them are based on the environment around the DNA, because the only maybe 10% of our DNA or our genes are pre-programmed with how we look, how we walk, how we talk. But 90% is what they call junk DNA for many years, because they couldn't see it doing anything, because 90% of your gene is waiting for the environment to unfold and for it to act out or express itself. So if a person, they say everybody was born with a cancer gene. Well, why did it only come on at a certain age? What made it turn on? What makes it turn on is a way of living, a way of thinking, a way of breathing, and it's in the food, it's in the water that created a vibration or a signal that caused that gene to change. So in each of us, there's a wealth gene, there's a success gene. We have to feel it, we have to live it, we have to invest into that gene. What do you mean invest? Create wealth mindsets. Think wealthy. We now know that epigenetics, which is the science of saying that the genes, they unfold, the genes express themselves based on what's coming out from outside in. You see, we're looking outside for something to save us many times, something outside external to help us. But really, if we realize that our environment is what's shaping our minds, it's shaping our genes. Very successful people usually have been through hell many times, and they couldn't afford to do something they thought until they had a breakthrough. When you have a breakthrough, you shift your genes into winners because you were born a winner. Those sperm, right? That one sperm had to be a winner out of hundreds and thousands of millions of sperms trying to get to the egg. One of them won. That's the winner gene. You have it. We are winners. So we will be able to invest as far as we can think. I'm not saying that right. Our mind, just imagine you're there. While you're writing your letter to Dawn, imagine you're in the class. Just imagine you're there. Feel yourself learning and growing. This is not about just business. This is about the business of being you. And I'm going to tell you, Dawn, there are supplements that can help us with our thinking, because if we're in deficiency, if you don't have the right amount of minerals, if you don't have the right nutrition, we think poorly. We think in a deficient mode because a lot of the food was given to us by the slave masters. You might say, well, the slave masters are gone. No, they're not. Because a lot of us are mental slaves of a system that eats us alive. So I want to show you something. Have you heard of monoatomic elements? Let's go to school just a little bit. How do I do this? Have you heard of monoatomic gold? Monoatomic gold, often referred to as ormus or white powder of gold, is a supplement aimed at enhancing cognitive function, energy levels, and spiritual awareness. Proponents claim it supports an improved mental clarity, reduced stress, and stronger immunity, while often being used to aid in meditation and spiritual transformation. So some of you have heard of gold water, right? And there's different types of gold water out there. Some is not actually monoatomic, and there is a special process to actually create monoatomic, which means that it has one atom. Monoatomic means a metal or something that has one atom. It has one thing it does. It has one focus. So monoatomic gold helps you move towards your mental idea to create the gold mind. Monoatomic gold is amazing. Have you heard of monoatomic platinum? This is different than gold water because it has this thing I'm talking about is monoatomic platinum, which is, it protects the auric field. It enhances focus, accelerates recovery, telomere repair, because your telomeres have a lot to do with how long you live, how long you're creative, how long you're energetic. You see, deeper meditation and intuition. A lot of us can't imagine being wealthy, being healthy. We can't imagine moving to a beautiful place. We have blockages. We have all these things in our minds, which are mental parasites keeping us from truly using our dream spell to create a new life. It's a potent antioxidant because what antioxidants do is they help your cells not rust. A lot of us have rusty ideas, rusty feelings, rusty cells, rusty organs, rusty bones. Antioxidants help to get rid of rust, oxidation. Monoatomic platinum is anti-inflammatory with anti-aging properties, promotes clarity, focus, awareness, alertness, and inspiration. How many of you need a little inspiration to move you towards success? Let's keep going. A couple more. What is ionic palladium? Have you even heard of it? It's a super antioxidant, antimicrobial, and a potent anti-tumor, mental, physical, and spiritual stress. It supports the synchronization of the left and right brain. Did you know that's the problem with a lot of folks? They don't have their brain balanced in a whole brain state. We're going to teach you that in the class, how to get in a whole brain state to use both sides of your brain equally to move you towards your goals. Leading to higher states of consciousness and spiritual awakening, balancing and unblocking the body's energetic pathways, promoting a freer flow. Did I write that right? Freer flow of life force, energy, or chi. Many times we just don't have the energy to even believe anymore. We've just been beat down so much by the system until something happens, and it's called an emergency. In emergency, people emergency. You could be on your last leg and something happens to shock you into a new place where you can emergency, because you can do things in emergency mode that you normally couldn't do. And one last, monoatomic and ionic copper enhances spiritual vitality by acting as an energetic conductor, An aura cleanser, huh? How many people have toxins in their energetic field, in their what they call magnetosphere? In metaphysics, it bridges the physical and spiritual realms. This allows the user to channel higher vibrations, amplify psychic awareness, and ground spiritual energy into the body. It also helps with red blood cell formation, cellular energy production, and nervous system balancing. It enhances the immune system. We happen to have all of that in a product called Platinum Life Elixir. This one is the game changer. A lot of high-level business people, they order this because it keeps them on post. It keeps them moving forward. It keeps them creating. It taps into the part of our brain that may have been dormant, the part of our emotions that may be rusty and oxidized. It takes that pineal and puts pressure on the pineal so that we can move towards our goal. And I'm just going to say, we're doing something we have never done.
I'm looking at that price, Dr. B.
We have never done this ever. The 2-ounce
Wow.
is on sale. Do you see that price? The 4-ounce
That's what I'm
model,
saying. That's why I'm almost as shocked as I was when I remembered the rubber band.
never, because this product is a challenge to create the even sourcing the materials that are in this are challenging. So we just finally got a new batch. So we're offering the special sale for this weekend, and you can use your discount code. So your discount code will go on top of this sale. You
Ooh.
see, MP15, you get 15% off of the sale. You get 15% off of everything on Elevation over on the Elevation Time website over $99. And Dawn, I know you have a special connection with this Platinum Life.
I have a special connection with Platinum. Platinum is, wow. So there's certain things I use as a writer. And those are tools that are just as important as my pencil. Because without them, my pencil is less effective. And Platinum is one of them. So when I'm asking for millions and millions of dollars, and I'm in that phase, and I'm writing this, I just submitted a $25 million grant. And I was writing at home, and I came into the office and realized I hadn't taken my Platinum. I had my son bring me my Platinum so that I could be in the space that I needed to be while I put the finishing touches on this grant, not because I can't live without it, but because I wanted that extra boost that I get from it that sharpens all parts of me that bring in the success that I need when I write, or that I desire when I write. It's not a need, it's a desire. At this point, we're at $40 million in bringing in funding by May. If I get that funded, that one grant funded, it surpasses half of what, excuse me, let me rephrase that. When I get that $25 million grant that we just submitted funded, it will surpass the 50% of what I've raised to date this year. And so I love Platinum. Dr. Reed, there's a question. Is Platinum Life included in the Total Body Cleanse?
No.
No.
This is a separate product. It is an add-on. Platinum Life is very unique. It's something that we created that Dick Gregory loved, and he had us change it so that he could do more of what he did. And even Michael Beckwith, there's another version of it that we had called the Beckwith Reserve. And we combined the Beckwith Reserve and the Dick Gregory Reserve, and we have the current one that is just what's in it. A lot of people haven't even heard of what's in it. These are the plants that are in it are unique. I talked about some of them last week, and the meta-Els, these monoatomic elements, really change the way we are and the way we think, because the pineal is the one thing that has been calcified energetically, but it is made of a certain type of calcium. And when you learn how to put pressure on it and you clear away the debris energetically around it and electrify it, everything changes. So for business people who are, going through creating new ideas, folks who need energy, and I've even heard some people tell me that it's great for intimacy because you can make love. In the book Think and Grow Rich, the most powerful chapter is the one sexual transmutation. How the most successful people in the world, he says, they have lots of intimacy, but what's in their mind and what they're focusing on during intimacy is their goals, what they're building, the money, the business, the health. They're focusing using intimacy. And we're going to have to do a whole class on that.
Sacred sexuality. We did that class in LA together.
We almost didn't get through it. People wanted to take off their clothes. And remember that?
I have a temple wall healing that I do in Reiki with women that help clear their temple wall. And I was talking to a couple of sisters yesterday about exactly what that is and how we as women need to protect our temple wall because we are receptors, and how sacred that is and should be for women, and being able to teach that. And as I'm just hearing you talk about the Think and Grow Rich, and there's 3 books that I teach from: Think and Grow Rich, The Slight Edge, and The 4 Agreements. That will align you completely when I'm coaching. And those are things that I work with my coaching clients on. And What's Eating You now. So I have 4 books now because those were 3 staples that now we can't even talk if you're not reading What's Eating You, because there are elements of all of those books and more woven into what's eating you. Like, just think about that. The wisdom that Dr. B has been able to, Dr. B is like a sage, but the wisdom he's been able to pour into this book, whether it's Dan Millman, his trainings and teachings, elements of Think and Grow Rich, all of what he has been able to take in this book, plus the health elements that don't exist anywhere else. And then you have the total body cleanse, and let's not forget about the medicine music. Woo! Dr. B.
We're also doing a sale of the Elevated Total Body Program, which helps to eliminate parasites on many levels. Most parasite cleanses are dealing with the colon, and you hear about the black walnut hulls, which do work. You hear about the cloves and the wormwood, if you get the right wormwood. Most people are not using the correct wormwood. And all the things that go in your average parasite cleanse, they do work for intestinal, or what we call enteric parasites. But the most dangerous parasites are what we call systemic parasites. They live throughout the system. Some of them were created during germ warfare, right? And they're biological weapons that are in the air they created these things, these antibodies, these things that are affecting people at a very deep, deep, deep level. It's a part of population control. So we took that into consideration when we created this program. So we're dealing with more than just the ones in your colon, but the ones that are in the heart, the liver, the kidneys, the spleen. And also this program, it doesn't just strip the body and cleanse the body. It fortifies the body. It's got all of the elements and things that you need to be healthier. It's got the minerals. It's got what you call the vitamins and the vital elements. So it's dealing with parasites on so many different levels, even what you might call spiritual parasites and energetic parasites. There are few substances that actually help to clear your auric field and to help push away those things like that are affecting us that may be running through the family. So the elevated total body program is also on sale, and you can use your discount code, right? MP15 to get 15% off of $99 or more. It's good until this Sunday at midnight. So look at the sale and then also add at the end when you're about to check out your discount code, and life begins to change. So if this is something that you're ready to do, there is another version of it called the total body program. And the total body program, it deals with systemic parasites also, but it doesn't deal with what we call superbugs like toxoplasma. It can't. There's special things that you need to deal with toxoplasma and what we call the energy of malaria. A lot of folks have the energy of malaria and don't even know it. They may not have the symptoms of malaria. They have the energy, and that is another manipulator. There are certain type of parasites that are manipulators. They manipulate the mind, and we found that a lot of people have been controlled by malaria too, and one other parasite called uriplasma. So the total body doesn't deal with the super bugs, but it deals with your average parasites, and it does do a, what we call a systemic detoxification. But to deal with the deepest ones, that's when you go to the elevated total body program. Back to you, Don.
I see Golden Sun Kiss in the thread.
She's here.
Golden Sun Kiss, is that you from the show the other night? From Brother Richard's show?
I think it is.
I think so too. And if so, I just wanted to say hello. And we can't wait to have you join us on the 6th. But I think it's the same Golden Sun Kiss.
I think it is. And if it
and
is,
so that was her question.
She actually was able to change her whole life in just a few minutes through a few techniques that we were on the Brother Rich show. What's it called? What's the show called now? He's changed the name.
363? Is it 36?
No, it's something else. Somebody know. Empire 363.
Empire 363. I knew the 363. Empire.
So you can go check it out. But she was able to win a whole thing of. She's got a whole package. Her life is changed. Many of you, your life is changing right now. But you've got to accept it. You can't fight away. We've been trained to fight off, right? The thing that we need, or chase off the thing that we need to cause the shift, because we're afraid of the unknown. How many of you are afraid of the unknown? And that's why you don't change. But what you know is haunting you, but you're afraid to go to what you don't know. What you don't know, and actually the unknown is happening every day because we have no idea what's going to happen today. This program and the way it's happening, we didn't know how it's how it's affecting us. We didn't know that Don was going to hear the words rubber band and almost have to be excused from the show. We think we know. We assume we know our lives and who we are and what's going to happen, and we're trying to hold on to control. We have to let go and realize that who has been steering your boat? Who has been controlling your vessel? What's she saying?
When you go on a detox, do you have to give up sugar?
Well, healthy sugars are good. It's the processed white sugar and brown sugar. Those are the ones that are causing most people to have what we call a brain freeze, mental paralysis. When you just touch some white sugar on your tongue, your brain goes into paralysis immediately. Your pineal gland, your pituitary gland, and your hypothalamus get a signal that's like distortion. And they no longer can do what they do. We're getting that every day in most foods. It's shutting us down.
And there's so many wonderful alternatives.
There are. Coconut sugar.
Monk fruit sugar.
amazing sugars that don't hit the blood so quickly. So even if we're looking at business, we have to look at what we're eating, what's eating us. If you're going to have coffee, I went to Starbucks to have a meeting with this family, and yeah, date sugar is another one. And we were talking about business. They had these because I do that too. I help people who are attempting to have business, grow their business, and I help them work on the mental and the subconscious side of that. And this guy, 2/3 of the cup was sugar. He took the thing and just poured it in. And I said, "You're going to have a little coffee with your sugar?" And he was like, "What are you talking about?" I says, "Look at your pupils. They're dilated. You're like on crack. No, we can't do anything. You've got nothing we're going to say is going to stick." And that's what happens to a lot of us. It doesn't stick. We have these ideas and these feelings, right? Because the sugar is causing a false sense of security. The sugar is shutting us out from the best part of our life. So we've got to go to natural sugars. All sugars are not bad. Okay, how can I contact you about my experience? Because I'm doing the elevated program and now things have been very interesting. Not the best in the best way. I'm actually confused at what's happening to me. So, what happens when you're doing the cleanse? You are killing off or you're eliminating parasites that have been hanging out a long time. Some of them will go to war in your body. Some of them will begin to create havoc so that you stop doing the cleanse. It's a test because you're getting down to tissue where your issues are. A lot of our issues are in our tissues, and those tissues may be harboring parasites, fungus, yeast, what we call bioplasm, or uh, uh, the protective coatings that these parasites create.
Mm-hmm.
There's a war going on, and you may feel uncomfortable. Dawn, you went through that. Where you
Oh
had
my
this
goodness.
super
I went
uncomfortable
through
feeling.
what I felt was I thought that I was experiencing something. I had to take the tranquility as a part of the cleanse, drink water, and then go to sleep because I was ready to go to the emergency room. I thought there is something absolutely wrong going on here. And I had to stop and think, wait, the cleanse is burning through cells that experienced these things, and or it is killing off things that I just have to allow to be released.
And when the biofilm, which is a coating, it's something parasites create to protect them. When you start burning through that biofilm, everything goes havoc. It goes crazy because parasites know how to protect themselves. That's why the average parasite cleanse doesn't really do what they say. It just causes the parasites to sleep a while and they wake back up. But the biofilm right now is it's being combined with microplastics. So you've got to melt the bioplastics. Who in here knows which fruits and herbs actually break down the biofilm and which ones actually can move plastic? We now have some new ingredients in the cleanse that actually break down the biofilm and what? Vaporize microplastics. I don't know anybody else that's doing this. Maybe they are, but parasites are very resourceful. They've been around for 2.5 billion years. Extreme heat may not kill them, extreme cold, chemicals. It's like they have been, because we've used so many things over thousands of years, they have created an immunity because they change. If you use the same stuff, the same materials for long periods of time, they build up an immunity and they become superbugs. Papaya seeds are good for intestinal parasites only.
I think there was a question before
Diatomaceous
that, Dr.
earth.
B, where they were
Yeah.
asking about, someone was asking about candida yeast and having a friend that lost weight. And I think that's what possibly Golden Sun Kiss was replying to. But there are some questions. Someone has a friend that's dealing with candida yeast and she lost weight and they don't know how to help her. And so there are a lot of questions that are present that are coming in the chat. That was one of them.
Well, for a lot of those physical issues, it would be great to get in contact with me for the physical side, and let's talk. Let's have a consultation. So, if you have some issues, where should we send them, Dawn? Should we send them to you, and then you send them to me, or they
You can send them to Dawn at elevationtime.com. What happens with your questions? I get them. We get them to Dr. B. If it's something that we can answer simply, we'll answer it simply. But if it's really recommended that you do a consultation, then we'll recommend a consultation and get you scheduled in for a consultation with Dr. B. So Dawn at elevationtime.com, just title the subject as to what you're looking for. If you have a question, let me know that it's a question. If you're interested in the Mind Your Business, Business Your Mind workshop, just put that in the subject line so that I'll know and be able to screen accordingly. If you haven't gotten, we will be sending out the links so that you can register for the class this week. Mind Your Business, Business Your Mind. Send your two paragraphs over, because we really want to understand it. If you do choose to participate on a VIP level, we'll already have some idea and be able to sort it out so that we can have it there and understand. So as we engage in conversation, you may not have to explain everything. Although having your email is wonderful, but having your name is a little bit more helpful. But I mean, I think that if you have questions and you want some answers, please send them over, and we can maybe possibly answer the question in a simple email or suggest that consultation with Dr. B. And that same email can be used. Someone was asking about a session with me. Please just send over, put in the email title what you're asking for, and we can make all of that happen. We are here and grateful for your presence. Dr. B, I see you put something up on the screen.
Someone says true sugar, but let's look at the slow poison that is causing real harm. Vaccines, prescription medications, they are more deadly than parasites. Do you know that to be true? Do you even have any idea what's in a vaccine and what is a parasite? And prescription medicines, there are some that could save your life. They're not all bad. We got to be very careful here. You're in an ambulance and you've been in an accident. I would do everything they said. Don't call for a parasite cleanser, cayenne pepper, or basil leaf. You've got to do what they say because they're very good at emergency medicine. All medicines are not bad. But to say that vaccines and prescription medicines are worse than parasites is not a true statement, because that says that you really may need to be educated at what a parasite is. Now, that is a statement that a person with toxoplasma might make. A person with toxoplasma is going to say things sometimes without thinking or knowing actually what's behind it and have the true definitions correct, because toxoplasma will cause all kinds of things to happen that we really don't mean.
So each paragraph for everyone in your group, if you're having a friend or two join, what I will say is construct your 2 paragraphs. If there's going to be multiple, then just put it in there, but make sure that I know the name and the email. We're not saying have 20 people sit in a room and we're going to do all of that. I think that we'll take into consideration but we would like to know, if there's 2 of you, why you want to be in the class. Yes, that's important. So yes, that's the answer to that. And then movie 2000, movie, all those numbers. Yes, please send the email so that we can look at it if you think you need a consultation, because we do want to make sure that you are able to have some questions answered that are specific. So send an email and we can look at getting you in a consultation with Dr. B. There's so many questions and things that are coming in. I'm trying to read all of them.
Somebody asked about the phone number. You can go to elevationtime.com and there is a phone number where you can leave a message and we'll attempt to get back to you. Just make sure you leave a message and be patient, because it's a lot of calls coming into that number. for
And
folks who
that
would
phone
like
number and the
consultation.
messages are great, but the emails they work the same because we
Yes.
read the emails and we will get back to you, and let you know if there's an answer to your question, or if you want, or give you the information or the link to click on to schedule your consultation. So you either or there's a phone number on the Elevation Time website, but Dawn at elevationtime.com will also get that. And so I love you guys in the chat. The chat the chats come by so fast. Sometimes when you're speaking and you're trying to read chats, you miss a couple of them. But I love you guys, and the energy and the support and the love that's been given in the chat. I mean, just watching how people are giving support to one another is beautiful. I appreciate you all. Um, and we want you to know that you're appreciated. There's some really deep questions coming through now in this chat. Um, and people are all dealing with medications and coping within this dimension. We're not here to take away from the medications that you're taking. Every single situation is individual, right? And so understand that you have to look at your individual situation. And I'll tell you this, I'll do it when I do. I'll use the same thing for prescriptions and medication that I use for people when they call me and they say, I have this wonderful desire to start my own business and just quit my job. And I always tell them, let's think about this before you make some random rash decision, right? We're going to call your employer your temporary investor. And I'm going to tell you to sit with that temporary investor until you have lined up everything that you lined up, or enough of what you need to make that leap. Because the hardest thing for a person to do is to step out into a new business and into a new venture and do it with struggle, because you haven't aligned all your ducks to be able to make that move, so that it happens with ease and grace. Making a move, starting a new business, and having less than what you need creates stress. And we don't want to create stress. So also think about the stress that you put on your body from immediately just stopping prescription medication without having a real plan and real healing taking place in your body. There are benefits to those prescriptions that are keeping your body in alignment with what it is as you move to make better choices. So don't stop that. Just like I say, don't walk away from your temporary investor to put yourself in struggle while you're trying to create. Creation requires ease and grace. Stress takes away from your ability to ascend.
You have to be ready to move and change. The question is, are you ready to shift? Are you ready to invest at a level that you may not have invested before? Investing in your shift, your change, your transformation. It's never easy, but it's simple. That's one step at a time, one moment at a time, one thing at a time. Are you ready to move away from some friends who may not be friends, but they may be frenemies? Some relatives that may be holding you back. Are you willing to not talk to them or deal with them so much? Are you willing to cut the cords from old relationships? Are you willing to cut the bonds that are tying you to your mental parasites? Have you read the book, What's Eating You? Are you reading it? Because in it, it is actually working on your subconscious mind. Are you listening to the medicine music? Because in it, there are vibrations that helps you deal with the frequencies that have you on a place in a world of disharmony, of discord. Creating harmony is what this is about. We're not here to fight against modern medicine and to talk about what the government's doing. This is about learning to be who you really need to be and can be. Do what you really need and desire to do so that you can have what you like. We're glad that you're all going to be signing up for the class. and you're going to be getting a book. Those of you who are going to be investing at the website, remember to use your discount code until Sunday. There are a lot of sales on the website that we couldn't mention today that you're going to get not only the sale, which is this is historic. The sale that we're doing right now, we have never done a sale like this one before where we are discounting so many products because it is time to water those flowers. This is, May. April showers bring May flowers. We're ready to grow. We're all doing this. No more excuses. Just do it and say return a thousandfold. When you give out something to a friend or somebody in need, say return a thousandfold. When you pay for something at the cash register, in your mind, return a thousandfold. And those are the habits and those are the things that we're going to be creating and showing you how to use along with the rubber band and the language of empowerment. And Dawn is going to hip us to some things about grants so we can now tap into the source that's always been waiting for you. Much love to you all. We're going to take this out right now with a little bit of medicine music. Would that be okay if I play the drum a little more as we go out?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So make
There is
sure.
one question.
Go ahead.
Would a group get the same benefits as an individual would get if the group registers as a VIP?
Well,
Wow.
that's a technical question.
That's one to think about. Can you send that to me in an email? And let's talk about how big your group is, because we want the VIP experience to be very individual. And so please send that to me in an email and we'll give you some insight.
And we're just actually it's coming. It'll be here probably Monday. The new shipment of drums because they have been sold out. They're sold out like every week. It's crazy how people are really investing and reaching. And I'll be doing some YouTube classes on how to use the drum because some folks are saying, well, I'm not a musician. You don't have to be. You are a musician. What you say, your words, your body, your actions is creating harmony or discord. You don't have to play the drum. You could just sit it in your room and it harmonizes the room. Or you could just figure out what your chakra notes are. And now it comes with a list of the chakras and which notes affect each chakras. And you could just play one note. That right there, that one note is C. And that C is dealing with your root chakra. We have chakras or energy centers that are always looking to be tuned up. So you can use the drum for, techniques to help you tune up. Folks are using them with clients or just touch it every once in a while. Just look at it. It's very beautiful. It's amazing. And the wood resonates with these frequencies that are otherworldly. So I'd like to thank you all who've invested your time in the drum, in products, into listening today, investing in yourself, in helping other friends and family change and shift. So I'm going to take us out with a little piece of Dr. B playing the medicine drum. Thank you very much, Dawn. We'll see you soon, right?
Yes, and, very soon. Thank you all.
Keep building.
Thank you all.
And remember, love is the only thing there's just too little of, so make more of it. Make more love. We're going to take you out of this world. So just close your eyes and relax as I play with the medicine drum. Much love. Thank you very much. Travel light. Enjoy the rest of your day and feel the energy within you growing. We'll talk to you soon. Remember, put yourself first. It's all about you.